Well, hello everyone. Lovely to be back doing a wee video. Big shout out to Jamie McDougall, one of my subscribers, who asked how my apple trees were getting on. So I thought, well, I'll maybe just give a wee update. So this is the back garden. This is a cutting that I've actually made myself a number of years ago. It's a variety Tom Putt, and out of all the varieties, this is probably the most prolific grower. They're the biggest apples that you see here, and right beside it, with not obviously not enough space for all of this, is a Kingston Black, which I moved from the front garden around the back because it wasn't doing too well, but it's growing fine, but there's not much fruit on it. I don't think they fruit very much, so probably wouldn't have been a best choice, but the Tom Putt's excellent. A little bit of damage here, a little bit sad. Black dab in it, again that used to be in the front garden, but I've moved it around here. It hadn't been doing too well, but I think I was basically letting the tree grow too tall, and obviously just being a bit greedy, trying to get it to be tall before it was ready. But it'll hang in there till I pick the fruit, so then I'll tidy it up. This is all a bit bendy. Which variety is this? I do know this. I should remember. Yeah, Yarlington Mill. Again, that was another one that was round the front, but it was struggling, and nice enough fruit on it, but I'm not sure. Anyway, so yeah, so that's kind of the state of play in the back garden. That's the raspberries when I make raspberry cider, so they're doing really well. Come through here, I've got the cider press out, so I'll do a first pressing today. Got a bit of windfalls that we've already got. Got this trusty old press there, double glazed unit there. It's a windbreak. It's a really good investment. Give me a sec. Yeah, and James Grieve, yeah, so I had to really trim it right back this year. Had absolutely no apples, hardly any apples on it. I've left that little branch here just so I can get them, but then I'll trim that back as well. So yeah, so it's make or break time. It needs to put on some fresh growth next year and hopefully get some decent apples from it again. And this is one of the varieties that's actually worked really well, Somerset Red Streak, so I'd certainly recommend that one. Certainly for me, if I was doing it again, I'd choose the Tom Putt and Somerset Red Streak. This tree broke a couple of branches a few years ago, so it's managed to get a little bit of strength back and producing a really decent crop for the few branches that it does have. Trusty Bramley still here. That's my sort of go-to essentially in terms of getting enough apples to do a decent cider pressing. So that's a sort of just giving me a chance to make a cider with my own apples. Sort of workhorse, I guess is the word I'm looking for. This is another Tom Putt. This is the original. It's a bit bendy, which is really a source of annoyance, really. But the apples are good, and they're just coming ready now. So if I just pick one now, you'll probably see it just come off quite nicely. Yeah, boop, boink. Yeah. So yeah, so they're needing to come off and get a pressing later. This variety is and now what is it? Come on, Daddy, I should know this. Brown's apple, which is another sharp variety. This used to be in the back garden and produced really quite much bigger apples, I think. It's a wee bit bendy. I'll straighten that up with a proper post, but it's a cracking looking tree. The apples, yeah, so nice big crop. So that tree's looking quite strong. I'd like to straighten it up a bit, but it'll be okay. And last main one, these are on M25 rootstocks, these three. So the idea was to have, you know, so a big sort of showpiece at the end of the garden. This is Katie apple. This used to be in the back garden, so you can see that I've sort of moved the trees about a bit, and I'm not sure they like that. They were much happier in the back garden. I thought, well, in that case, now that they're strong enough, bring them around the front. And I think what's happening is that there's just too much moisture getting drained out the soil. There's the hedge there, there's a round tree there, and obviously all the grass and everything. So I just need to put a little bit more effort. I think maybe take the rowan out and give it a chance, give it some good mulch, and maybe water it, for example, in the very dry spring that we had. Just didn't bother, which is not good. More raspberries going in there, strawberries are in that corner. This is Rubinet. If you read up about it, they say how delicious they are. That's not what I find. They're fantastic cropper. Again, we had broken branches here, you can just about see in there. They're fine, absolutely fine for cider, but they're just too sharp to eat. They're supposed to be like a Cox's or something, but orange pippin or something, but it's I don't find them edible like that. But very decent sized apples. I'm wondering if it actually is a Reuben, actually, if anyone knows anything about these sort of things. Maybe I should have a proper look myself. Ashmead kernel here. Nice looking shape, actually. Very, very few fruit on it this year. Court Penduplat. Yeah, very, very ancient variety. I wouldn't recommend it unless you're just into looking after old varieties. And I've got a couple in here that I think are Suntan and Sunset, but I can't remember which is which. But again, they're just excessive, really. Yes, this is sort of the meadow area of the garden that we allow the bumblebees and the yeah, so we just can't be bothered-itis, basically. So that's about it, really. Plum tree, I'd quite like to get rid of that and plant another apple tree. So I think that's about it. You might see some hops growing in amongst the Bramley. I think they're Chinook. Yeah, so I just haven't really looked after them very well this year. There's not very much, but I'll maybe get a wee bit of a picking. Right, that's enough for just now. They said make or break time. You basically have to blah blah blah. Yeah, so make or break. Let me do that bit again.